So a few people have been using paper towels in lieu of bathroom tissue, which we have over here. So I'm going to go ahead and put out a video discussing the difference between wet strength and dry strength polymers. Wet strength polymers, like here on the paper towel, are designed so if it gets wet, it stays together, doesn't break apart. This is great for cleaning, for wiping things off. This is not ideal for water treatment plants. Over here, we have dry strength polymer, designed to not fall apart when it's dry, but is deliberately intended to be far more fragile and break apart when it gets wet, especially over extended periods of time. We're going to put each of these into water to soak. Here's the other one. And we're going to leave these there for a little bit of time and check back in on them. This is going to go to, please don't use stuff with wet strength polymers and flush it. Your POTW people will thank you. Okay, so after about 4 hours, just going to take a fork and not really hit it or anything, just kind of move the water. Add just a little bit of turbulence. You can get that one. Try not to poke it with the tines. Let's get it out here. Okay. You can definitely feel more tension with the paper towel. It is slightly larger, but it's kind of hard to see, but you can see shredding around the edges right there for the toilet paper. And whereas you can see the 2-ply is separating for the paper towel, but overall it's pretty much intact. The 2-plies are separating for the, there we go, toilet paper as well. Okay, so let's see what kind of shape these are actually in. So pick this up. So we can see very, very easy tearing. That was just from picking it up. Again, just, that's nothing right there. Over time, it'll actually almost get stringy, like the individual fibers coming apart. Now, if we look at the paper towel, I physically am having to force it apart. We can see that the other one, just spreading my fingers, did it. That will not do it for the paper towel. That's some pretty strong stuff. And I don't even think it's Bounty. I think it's store brand. So, if this gets in your pipes, it will stay together. Other stuff will back up against it. It will clog it. There are screens in the water treatment plants. This will take and go up against the screens and again will clog it. It is very, very difficult to get out. It messes up the entire treatment system. It's really, really not good. Whereas this stuff, yeah, I mean, it's coming apart just from being touched. So, I mean, even just a little bit of turbulence just from the water flowing, and it's going to turn into very, very small pieces that can then be managed very, very well by the POTWs, the publicly owned water treatment works. So, I realize that, you know, I mean, a lot of people right now don't have options. Nobody can spare a square, for a Seinfeld reference. But it just means that if you are having to use alternative types of tissue, find an alternative way to dispose of it, whether it's the trash bags that are used for diapers, or if you have a yard, your plants will love you. 6 to 8 inches deep is a safe distance to bury it. That's what's used by backpackers. So plenty of options out there. Sorry, this wasn't, you know, more professionally produced. Cameras, lighting and stuff, but hopefully it'll get people listening. Since there have been reports of, again, the water treatment works having issues. Okay, so here's our final check. So here we see the paper towel is still intact. I mean, there's, like I said, the two plies separated, but you can just pull it right out of the water and it is still set to go. It's not actually any easier to tear it now, really, than when it was dry. There's a slight difference, but it's barely even noticeable. Meanwhile, you actually have it dripping off pieces when you pick it up. You can see that it's separating down into the individual fibers. Very, very small pieces. So, let's see if I can flip this around. So the difference between these two, they both use very, very similar principles, but very, very different chemistry. Both use charged active groups on a long polymer chain to hold all of those little individual paper fibers together. The difference is that the ones for paper towels, which are called wet strength polymer, so they're still dry when wet, are not soluble in water. The ones for specifically bathroom tissue are designed to be soluble in water. They have active groups that when they're exposed to water, they break apart and dissolve. So chemistry in action makes our lives better, but we do need to use things for their appropriate purpose. There's a couple of good articles on them, on wet strength versus dry strength. Most of them are from different companies like Chimera, and I think another one is Solaris. If you're interested in reading further, thank you. If you're still here, thank you for listening to me this long. Have a good day.